Hello again, watch friends, and welcome back to Watch Thoughts. A picture is worth 1,000 words, or maybe it's 1,000,000 words, or even just 256 words. A cliche? No doubt. But the truth is that websites selling watches generally do a pretty abysmal job presenting their watches. Photography is often not very good and is sometimes an insult to the watches being sold. Interestingly, watch enthusiasts, you and me that is, frequently do a much better job of taking watch pictures and sharing them. There may be many reasons for this, such as minimal time watch businesses have to take good pictures, or pride of ownership on the part of the collectors and owners. Regardless, there are a few things to keep in mind when photographing your watch. There are plenty of websites and videos on photography, and plenty of websites and videos on watches. There's even many websites and videos on photographing watches, so I won't cover old ground on such things as cameras, lenses, lighting, backgrounds, etc. But keep in mind, anyone can make great photos using just a cell phone. I do. You just need to keep a few important points in mind. Focus. An out-of-focus shot, unless there is some compelling, creative, in or out-of-focus thing going on, will be ignored. Viewers will just swipe left. Try to minimize glare if possible. Sometimes this is difficult with watches with no AR coating. For example, my FP Journe was really tough to photograph because of the glare on the crystal. You may or may not want to show the brand on the dial. If that's your intention, help the viewers out by making it large enough to read. Sometimes that's not important, such as when a particular watch is easily identifiable. Use alternative or novel views and settings. For example, side, portion of a dial, close-up, or a dramatic view. Loom is always fun, too, especially if you can present it in a different perspective. And finally, know that a watch doesn't have to be expensive to be attractive. Your goal in taking a picture of your watch is to capture the interest of the viewer, not just make a documentary shot. That is, here's the watch. You want to provide a mood, something to engage with, make the viewer do a double take or a prolonged look. You want to capture the viewer's interest and hold their attention. On a really good shot, the viewer will linger, examine every portion of the photo, often looking for some additional meaning. I know this is true, because I do it. I'm sure you do it as well. Here are some examples of what I think are great shots. All the pics shown are either mine or with the approval of the owner. Sometimes a good or even great pic can be very simple, and serendipity often plays a role. You just need to keep your eyes open, look for opportunities where you might find something novel, interesting, unique, and then take advantage of it. What could have been a standard wrist shot, albeit of a really nice watch, I'm rather partial to Sins, James Poole added another element to up the interest level. I think it works well because of the raindrops. And James says this was purely serendipity. Here's an unusual shot from Brendan Wood. The watch brand is not visible, but you kind of know what watch it is. And where did he get all those pouches? Either he has a lot of Rolex watches that needed service, or he knows somebody. Here's a side view of a Laurent Ferrier annual calendar school piece, and it's just a side view, not the entire watch. Something that is a little bit different, but adds more interest than just a head-on picture of the watch. Marcus R. Young has a picture of his Sea Dweller. It's a classic shot. Everything's in focus. It's rather dynamic, and I think it's a good pick. Kaz Orimovich has an interesting picture of, well, shoes and a watch. So the watch may not be the focus of the picture, but it's clearly part of the picture, and it adds to the overall element of the picture, which is men's style in general. Here's a picture that a collector would not normally see. It's a 3/4 view of a plate. This is Lovick Rohrer watchmaking, and it's kind of unusual and interesting. The second picture of the same watch is very novel. What is this? Is it a city skyline? Is it chess pieces? What's the scale? A great picture often makes people think. Sometimes it takes context to know what you're looking at. I like this picture a lot. Here's another picture from Kaz, and sometimes, well, less is more. In the still less is more category, here's a picture of, well, just the buckle. Makes you wonder, what reference is this? Another picture of a buckle says it all. And again, less is more and can still be an attractive, interesting pick. Here's a very distinctive watch from Marcus R. Young. It's a nice picture because the hands are in good position. It allows you to see the dial text and the crosshairs on the dial. This is a vintage Seiko 5 bottle cap. Real nice looking watch, Marcus. Here's my Glashütte Original 70s, a sort of a 2/3 view. The hands position are good, and what I like about this picture, what I was trying to get, and I think I accomplished it, is I captured the radiance of the dial. Using a diagonal in a shot is standard art or photography best practice. Actually, in this picture, there's multiple diagonals. The hour and minute hands, the power reserve, the seconds hand. Overall, I think it works well. Close-up is often attractive. Can't always get everything in focus, though. Here, I chose to focus on, no pun intended, the power reserve indicator. Using two techniques, a close-up and a side view. Notice the hour hand and seconds hand are diagonal. Sometimes multiple techniques are useful in making a great picture. I was going for a side view of my Zinn 556i. This first pick, the side view could be better, and the perspective is out of proportion. Not a very good shot. Here's a better side view of the same watch. Note the opposite diagonals. Overall, the picture and the hour seconds hands. Everything's in focus, and I decided to include the crown and the crown guards, but not the entire watch. James Poole decided on a classic 3/4 view on this classic watch. You can see the blued second hand. It's very visible, and it's a very clean shot overall. Here's another shot of James's JLC Master Control, this time with a different strap, and it's kind of a moody shot. I like it. Sometimes an unidentifiable aspect of a watch is really identifiable, at least by those in the know. H. Moser & C fans will probably recognize this watch or brand immediately. Others might be wondering, where have I seen that? Or what brand is that? Two close-up views of my vintage Seiko World Time. Sometimes, often actually, you must decide what you want to feature in the picture. The first pick is attractive overall, I think, and although the hand placement could be better. In the second picture, I wanted to focus on the lovely texture of the linen dial. The minute hand should have been a smidge higher so as not to obscure the date window. Loom is always cool. Here, a 3/4 diagonal view adds some interest to the picture. And another loom shot, this one rather interesting, the comparison of Borealis Adriga and the Rolex Explorer. This is from Carlos Carvalho. This is the kind of a fun shot. I like it. And a great picture of a cheap watch, if I do say so myself. It's the classic wrist shot perspective, but I monkeyed with the contrast and lighting to get more of a dramatic shot. Remember, you don't need an expensive watch to make a great pick. Sometimes you don't show the watch at all. but maybe a part of the watch. I think this is an interesting pic of a part of the watch. And notice the diagonal. I think this is a very dramatic shot. Sometimes you don't need to get fancy. Just let the subject do the work for you. Here, Cash shows his quadribird movement. It's really enough to make this picture interesting, I think. A simple background often helps a watch stand out. My H. Moser Endeavor, small seconds, looks very dramatic with this green background. Finally, I like this picture from James Poole quite a bit, for a couple of reasons. First of all, the watch owner has class. He's wearing cuffs and cufflinks. The JLC Master Control has class. No doubt about that. And this could be interpreted as the JLC is at home both with formal wear and at the office. And by the way, notice the cufflinks. Those are JLC cufflinks. Nicely done, James. Traditionally, watch photos have hands at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock so as to allow the brand marquee to be seen. Taking that a step further, if the watch has other complications, such as a moon phase, a calendar subdial, power reserve, etc., you want the hands to not obscure them, or if that's not possible, to minimize them covering up the other objects of interest on the dial. One example where I didn't just quite do this was with this shot. I really could go on and on. Really, I could, since I enjoy watch photos so much. But I'll stop here. You get the idea. And you'll be surprised how much of an eye you develop over time by taking your own pics and looking at lots and lots of other watch pics to see what works or doesn't and what you like. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share with your watch friends, and subscribe, if you already haven't, so as to be alerted of new content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.